with esports, no, with our line of business, you need to strike fear in your opposition even before the game starts. It's mind games. It's simple mind games, just to show someone that you're gonna bring the pain. You know, even if he might beat you, it's just you're trying to just get in the head of your opposition. Yeah, it's simply that.
No, you're talking like Tyson Fury before he fought against Deontay Wilder, but this is somebody who's using a console.
Yeah.
And Ronnie, let me come to you. What's the gaming scene in the country at the moment? Because I saw that PwC report and I thought I was living in a different country. But an 8 billion shilling ecosystem is not a small thing.
Yeah, sure, Wahome. At the moment in our country and across the world, more and more people are playing video games. Some through their mobile phones, some through their PCs, and some through the consoles, which are the most common in our country. And it's crazy because every hood you walk into, you'll find a PlayStation launch. Every place you go, you'll find someone playing on their phone. So the video gaming industry in our country is on the rise. In the world, it's on the rise. And now it's our duty to have the organized competitive gaming, which is now esports. And as you've known, all over the world, sports federations are taking it up as a division. So we're also trying in our country to bring it to the fore as a sport.
Well, and for you, Peter, you've opted to, take up football. The last time we had a conversation around esport here, we had Queen Arrow, who's more into the combat sports. Why football on a console for you?
Well, I just love FIFA. I love football. The sport. So it was easy for me cause I wasn't as physically gifted as probably Wanyama. So it was easy for me to play FIFA. So yeah, I loved playing FIFA, and I just built on it. And initially, I didn't think I was that good until I started going for tournaments. So I'll encourage people out there to try their luck with tournaments. They could actually be really good athletes.
Well, calling them an athlete, making an athlete fast. When it comes to this Gamer X competition that we've had, that is Pan-African in nature, how then do you come to put it together, and the fact that the African Championships are going to be played in Nigeria, the story behind this collaboration?
Yeah, what we had over the weekend was the Gamer X Africa Kenyan qualifiers. This is a continental esports competition. We shall have competitors from 10 countries. That is the hosts Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Algeria, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, and Senegal. So competitors have been competing across their country. Tanzania also had their qualifiers over the weekend. So they shall be traveling to Nigeria on the 31st of March for the competition, which is set to be held in the 2nd of April at the Echo Hotel in Lagos. It's courtesy of Gamer, who are trying to bring together the African esports community.
Now, let me ask, when you do organize this, considering that Peter's going to be competing for a share of $15,000, what's the organizational plan that you put together such that you make it worth his while? Because he says gaming is his business, which means that you've got to pay him. He's got to earn a living by getting engaged in this esports.
Yeah, basically, esport is a very young sport, less than a decade old in the world right now. So the focus right now is in having more and more competitions. The more competitions you have, the more you pull in the resources, the more you pull in the partners, the more you pull in the audience. So at the moment, as you see, Gamer are trying to put some prize money there so that these athletes can compete for it. It's also exposure, because if you want our athletes to grow, they need to travel this world. They need to match up against the best in South Africa, the best in England, the best in the US, the best in Brazil. And this is what we are focusing now in developing that talent. When you develop that talent, we'll definitely find ourselves in a point where this talent can earn. We also want to develop our gamers into professionals so that they can package themselves. As you see Mawano here, you'll find him on Twitter.
Take us through it, Peter, as you got to the final three, playing against Eric, and also there was Kevin, who's known as Bad Neustril, and Eric, who goes by the name of Timon. Your names are scary.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, people like to try to strike fear in the opposition. But talking about the format of the tournament, it was a one-day tournament, so we didn't have a lot of time to like maybe go through a lot of qualifiers and sieve out the best. But it was done professionally. So yeah, it was a knockout tournament, home and away. So on the best player won, and it came down to 3 players, where we just had to play each other and know who's the best among us.
Mm-hmm. And also now, how much of a concentration level do you keep going with these games? Because I've seen it, I've seen people playing and they get into a zone that you think probably they are now in Zen state.
Well, yeah, esports is a mind sport, just like chess. So concentration levels is what wins the game. In my opinion, it's about the concentration levels, and some people have very insane concentration levels. I think that's why kids do better in such sports. It's just about concentration, but anyone can do it. It doesn't have an age limit, but yeah, it's all about it's in your mind. In my opinion, I consider it a sport. There are people who think it's a controversial topic, terming it as a sport. But if chess is a sport, then esports is definitely a sport.
All right, Ronnie, the question then is now, how do you keep this sport going, together with the connotation that it's an addictive thing that takes young people away from what would be real sport, so to speak?
First of all, it does not take away someone from the other sport. It is a complement to what we call the brick and mortar sport. For instance, right now, young people in our country, or the kids in our country, or all over the world, they're introduced first to digital devices, even before they touch a book. My daughter is 2 years old. She can operate a smartphone very well. So her gateway to that sport, if it's soccer, or if it's racing, or if it's basketball, will be a digital device. She will interact with, if it's football, on a smartphone. When she goes to school and she has the option, do I play football, tennis? She remembers, I've played football in my smartphone. If you're also trying to pull in more funds to a sport, it's also another avenue. We've seen what, for example, Esports have done together with leading organizations in football, like the Ligue 1 of France, where they have an esports competition. And through playing these video games, people become fans of Ligue 1. It translates into buying of more packages for them, more TV rights, buying of more merchandise, and other things. So I'd really say that esports is a complement to traditional sports.
Peter, and let me just put this forward. Looking at the various...
Right now, we have those loose connections that we are trying to tighten. When you have people like Gamer coming in, telling us we are from Nigeria, we want to do this, it gives us an opportunity. When you go to Nigeria, you network. That is how federations like CAF were formed, federations like UEFA, is by networking. So we are really in the stage of networking and trying to bring these many private organizations together, and so that we can take even this conversation to our policy makers and tell them, look, if people are spending billions of shillings in this avenue, we have to right now take it seriously and look at how we do it in an organized, safe manner, because you can't take away the fact that we are in the digital era. You can't stop someone from playing these video games. You can guide them how to play it safely. When you have these organizations and you talk with our policymakers, we are able even to share guidelines with the gamers, telling them, if it's this game, you need to play for these hours for you to be safe. You need to take a break for a meal. You need to take a break for hydration. You need to take time to go and exercise. You need to look at your back. You need to do exercises that make your wrist stronger. And because, again, they take a lot of mental concentration, you also give them exercises that help them in their mental well-being. So it's only through this that we'll be able to move the scene. So right now in Africa, I'd say there are a lot of private organizations, but the conversation is really picking up. Over the last 2 years, people are really consolidating themselves now, trying to move in a nation, in a region, in a continent, into one block. Globally, we already have the World Esports, the International Esports Federation, and we also have the Global Esports Federation. We have 2 international federations, but discussions are going on how to consolidate it. And we're also having those discussions in Africa, how we can consolidate.
Mawano, let me come to you, and there's something Lusigi has mentioned, and it is about how much time somebody should spend, facing that console, and knowing very well that for some of these sports, there is a lot of strobing, the flashing lights that come your way, and there is also the tendency that you want to work with a lot of noise around you, with the headphones and that. What's the right way to make sure that if you're going to game, then you also take care of your health? How many hours on a console? How do you act around the noise, the strobing lights?
Well, interesting question. I don't think
the same way sports like basketball has developed, it has taken people from all other sectors to make the Premier League what it is, to make football what it is. So inviting the talent, we're inviting the talent from outside there, come and understand these sports and help us move forward to the next level.
Thank you very much. Peter Mumu, aka Master Mawano. He is a gamer. He's going to represent Nigeria at an African Championship. And Ronnie Lusigi, he's the CEO of Index G Esports. Thank you very much for giving us your time this morning. Well, it is time for me to close this conversation on Sports Check today. It's been a pleasure, having been with you today as we had a conversation about golf, health, and also esports. Coming up next is Kurundia Mashinani, and then after that, we shall have Tamrini, that's our Swahili interview program. This Mungai is on standby to take over the hot seat from me. Our sign language interpreter, this has been Susan Tuku. My name is Daniel Wahome. Have a good day.